Hello everyone, Nether Tray here, and welcome to episode 27 of Nether Tray's Let's Play for modded Minecraft version 1.21. I'm checking out my mob farm here today and seeing that this sword, just with Knowledge of the Ages 1, is doing work when it comes to getting us experience. I have 378 levels on me, and there's another 37 in here already, and I just pulled it out. So yeah, I've just been coming over here every once in a while and grabbing the experience. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take it over here, and I'm going to throw it all inside of this guy. And once that's all in there, you can actually set this to automatically give experience to the player. Let's see. We're going to set it up so that it detects me. Let's go to... figure out what I want to do here. I think what we want to do is take this down to 0, and then we want to go up on the Y a little bit. And then I think we want to take it a little bit to the side, just so that when we're standing here, it detects us. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, and then we're gonna set this and say that we want to be always at level 100, and then we want it to collect any experience beyond that. So we want this set to ignoring redstone, and then it's just all of a sudden gonna shoot us up to level 100 if we're ever above level 100 when we come here. So let's say on level 161 when I come here, I'm going to step in this little box and it's automatically going to start pulling us down to level 100. If I use some experience for whatever reason, let's say I died or something and I'm not at level 100 and I step in here, it's going to automatically fill us up to level 100. So whenever we're on here, we're automatically going to have the correct number of levels that we need to do max enchantments. And then let's go ahead and turn that off so that it's not in our way anymore. Cool. Yeah, so we spent last episode working on our little enchantment build here and kind of finalized our level 100 enchantments. Today, what I want to work on is our Applied Energistics system. We want to go back to this. I actually got a really good suggestion from one of the viewers who suggested that I set up the wireless system. So thank you for bringing that up. I've been meaning to do that for a while. And that's what we're going to start working on today. If we have time, we're going to work on some other upgrades to our Applied Energistics system. But for right now, let's dive into getting our wireless set up. So if I type in Applied AE2, let's say, and we look for, there is a block called an ME wireless access point. We're going to go ahead and make one of these. We're going to tell it to make what it knows how to make. And then for the rest of it, we're going to need one of these, which is a new item called a Fluix Pearl. It's pretty easy to make. It's just some Fluix dust, some Fluix crystals all around an Ender Pearl. We're going to craft what it needs to make that automatically. It's going to throw it in our little system here, and then we can just pull it out and make our Fluix Pearl. And that should get us to here where we can make our wireless receiver. And then with our wireless receiver, we can make our wireless access point. This guy's really cool. We're going to go ahead, and I think we're just going to slap him right here on the side of our Applied Energistics system, right in the middle. And then inside of this, we're going to have a bunch of places that we can put stuff. So by default, the range has a range of 16 meters, which means we can use our system wirelessly at that range, which 16 meters isn't very far. So we're going to upgrade that. But first, what we need to do is make our wireless terminal. So let's go ahead and see what it's going to take to make one of those. So we got our wireless pattern encode. You basically have a wireless terminal for each of these different terminals plus a bunch of others. What we want is a wireless crafting terminal. In order to make that, we're going to need all this stuff. We're going to need the regular wireless terminal, which is going to require our dense energy cell, which we already know how to auto craft. So we're going to let the system go ahead and start doing that. And then we're going to go back here and start working on some of this other stuff, like a crafting table. We can do that ourselves pretty easily. Once that's done, we're going to need another one of these Fluix pearls, which means we're going to need some more dust. That come into the system here. And ta-da! Then we're going to go ahead and make this guy. This guy. Get us another wireless access point, and then we just need our ME crafting terminal, which we've made in the past. So let's go ahead and auto craft the chip. And then while that's going, we are going to work on making the ME terminal. We're going to craft all the things we need to make that. And then we should be able to go in here, our ME terminal, and then we can turn it into a crafting terminal. And with that, we should be able to make our wireless crafting terminal, which is going to automatically charge up courtesy of our power system down here. So he's going to fill this guy up. And when we open this up, we should be able to see that our device is not linked to our Applied Energistics system. Let's go ahead up to our wireless access point. We're going to take this, we're going to throw it in here, and it's going to link it up to our system. And when we open it, we can see everything that is in our Applied Energistics system up to a distance of 16 meters. So if I go out here, for instance, you're going to see that we're out of range. We get a little bit closer, and now we're in range again. So we are going to want to extend that. Let's look at what we need to get that going. So what we're going to need to do this is going to be a wireless booster. We're going to need some ender pearl dust, which should be super easy. Did we not teach our system how to make that? We probably should, but for right now, let's just go ahead and grab some ender pearls and grind them up. All right, a little more than 2 stacks. That should last us a while. All right, so our wireless booster card, which was right here, we're going to go ahead and craft up the other piece of that we need. Going to get us 2 of those. If we open this book, so this is for a wireless terminal. It's going to increase our range. Go ahead and throw this guy in here and see how much it gives us. So if we put 2 in there, we went from a range of 16 meters to a range of 18.8 meters, which is not a big difference. We're actually going to want, there's a better version of this. I think it's called, is it an infinity? Yeah, these are the ones we want. All right, so we want an infinity range booster, which will let us use our AE system anywhere in the overworld without restriction. And then we're also going to want to make the dimension card, which will allow us to use it in any other dimension. As you can see, this is going to take a lot of nether stars, which is going to be one of the projects that we're working on next. It is going to require 1 nether star to make this, as well as 3 of those range boosters and 3 netherite ingots. So it's not real difficult, except for this nether star. That's going to be the one thing that is going to give us a little bit of a hard time. So I think what we're going to do real quick, since we're capable of killing wardens, I assume that it's not going to be difficult to kill a wither. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Let's take our 4 soul sand and 3 of these guys and find somewhere that we're not going to care if it gets blown up too bad. So we should probably do it underground so he can't fly away. Let's actually go to where our quartz geode is. And let's find like a little crevice that we can pop this guy down in. And then do a little bit of murdering. So if we go in here, we should see we've got some skeletons and some zombies. Don't really care about them. I just want to find like a small, I also don't want too much lava around, because if our nether star falls in lava, I'm not going to be happy. Let's go over here, maybe here. Let's go like right here and plop down one of these guys. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Back up a little bit. The explosion shouldn't really hurt us, but better safe than sorry. Doot, 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 and boop. we have a dead wither, which means our first nether star. Yay, we've also got some wither meat, which is part of one of the delight mods, which is food. But for right now, we have the nether star that we needed to get this done. So let's go home. We're going to need another one of those wireless booster cards because we only have 2, right? So let's get another one of these guys going. That's just one little Fluix dust and make that. We now have 4 of those, which means we'll have an extra one, but that's fine. Take these guys out. Let's go ahead and do infinity booster. So this is from a special mod called AE Infinity Booster. It's not actually part of Applied Energistics itself. So let's go ahead and make those 2 Eyes of Ender and then pop that out and stick in an infinity range booster. Go ahead and put this guy in here and we now have infinite range, and it's just going to cost us a flat AE power units, whatever these translate to in Forge energy. And yeah, that will make sure that no matter where we go in the overworld, we can access our Applied Energistics system. We are going to want to work on getting the dimensional version of it, but that's going to require a couple more nether stars, which, yeah, we could just like make a couple more withers and kill them and get their nether stars and be done with it. But I think for right now, we're going to call this good enough. We're not planning on going to other dimensions anytime soon for anything major. So that's good for that. Another thing that I do want to bring up is that the items, the gadgets from the building gadgets mod, so like that one, the cut and paste gadget. I know I have a building gadget somewhere. Yep, the building gadget. I do want to make one more gadget while we're at it. There's a copy and paste gadget, which is really good, and I want to make sure I have that because we're going to be using that in some builds pretty soon. These can all be attached to the Applied Energistics system through the wireless, the same way we did the wireless terminal. So we take our exchanging gadget and we put it in there. It's now attached to the system. This guy doesn't actually need one. He's just the cut paste guy. Actually, I thought he could go in there. No, it's not the cut paste guy. The copy and paste guy can. So he can be attached to the system, and then our building gadget can be attached to the system. So the cut paste guy doesn't need to be, but the rest of them work with it. So now, whenever we want to copy a build or build something with our building gadget, it will automatically take the resources out of our Applied Energistics system. We don't have to keep them with us in a backpack. We don't have to keep them with us in our dank null. It'll just pull them straight out of here, which means we don't even really need the dank null anymore. It's kind of nice because it automatically picks things up, which is the reason that I'm going to keep it. But yeah, we don't really need this or the backpack anymore. The biggest reason I keep the backpack is for sorting purposes. I like to keep commonly used tools in the backpack. Don't really need to do that either. I could throw that all in the Applied Energistics system at this point. But I'm just going to leave it here for now. I'm going to take these acacia seeds out because they don't need to be in there. Okay, so let's get rid of this food as well. One other quick thing that I do want to work on with that is the wireless crafting terminal. It says slot curio down at the bottom. Means we can actually put it in one of our curio slots. And then if we have it attached to a keybind, so if we do AE2 category advanced Applied Energistics 2, we should be able to see that we can do the open wireless pattern access terminal. Not that one. We want the wireless crafting terminal. So we're going to bind this to tab. So now, anytime that I press tab, so when you're in here, you're going to want to make sure that you're binding your key to open wireless terminal, even though it's a wireless crafting terminal. The wireless quantum crafting terminal is a separate thing. So you want to make sure that is the key that you're changing. So now that we have that set to tab, anytime I press tab, it's going to open this up. I don't even have to have the wireless crafting terminal in my inventory. It's in one of my curio slots. Just press tab. It's going to open that up, which is really handy. We can craft anywhere on the go with anything in our Applied Energistics system, which is awesome. The next thing that I want to start working on to upgrade our Applied Energistics system is I think we want to start getting into using peer-to-peer tunnels to kind of break up our channel usage. into specific sections. So for instance, this Fluix ME smart cable, I think that's got 8 of 8 channels being used, which means we may have things over here that aren't powered. It looks like we might be right on the edge because we got 3 coming from here and we got 5 coming from here. But really, in order to see if there are things that aren't working, you have to go to each of them on the ends and see. That one says it's online, so we're good there. And then you have to run over here. This says there's 4 channels coming from down here, and we would have to actually get up in there, which is going to be kind of difficult. So what I would like to do is get underneath our system here. And actually, I think in order to do this, to make this easiest, we might have to move a bunch of our machines. So all these machines that are around the outside here, I don't really want them there. So let's see if we can't move some of this stuff. I think, for instance, the sag mill, we might put the sag mill right here. I want to put it under this window. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make 2 spots here. And what I would like to do is put, I might get rid of this entirely. So the basic idea was I actually wanted to run the main cable out through here and go back in this way. But now I'm not sure that's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and find the center of the room here, which I believe is going to be right where this guy is. So if I go here, that's going to make it a little difficult because of the plant systems being here. Maybe I'm not going to worry about that right now. Eventually, we're going to have to straighten this out. But for right now, I think I'm just going to... Oop, not large tiles. We're just going to close this back up. And I think for right now, we're just going to move the sag mill. Put him here. And I actually want to put a... Let's just... maybe we just take this guy, an alloy smelter. Let's break that one. And we're going to put him right there. And then I'm going to take the extended pattern provider with all the patterns for the sag mill. The sag mill is this guy here. We're going to go ahead and slap him on there. We are going to need some power. So we'll remove that. All right. And then... Actually, you know what? He needs to be right here in order to work with that. So let's do that. Let's put our patterns back in here. Put our dark steel grinding balls back in here. This is going to have to come back. I think we're going to go... We also have to get some power up in this guy. So, hard part about this is going to be making sure that we still are able to get everything we need out of our system. Let's get 2 peer-to-peer tunnels. I think we might, because these are our most commonly used Applied Energistics machines, I think we're going to leave these 4 here where they are. And we're going to start pulling our channels out back through here. So let's go ahead and plop this guy here. I don't want this here. These can only connect to these. I don't want that connected. Do we have any more of those anchors? Don't have more anchors. So what we need to do is get, let's get an iron bar, because iron is what we have the most of. And then we should have, start to quartz this guy. And we'll divide this up here so that they're not connected. And then from there, we actually want to connect this guy. So this is going to two places, right? It's going to our, or no, this is only going to our room for mob spawners. So we'll call that our spawning room. And then I want to go ahead and get, I guess the easiest way is just to go like this. I want to break this because it doesn't need to be here. And then go like that. And then I'm actually going to need a couple more of these. Because we want this to connect here. We don't really want it to connect to that guy. Can we stick an anchor under there? That should solve that problem. Yep. And then this is going to be where all of our different rooms channels are connected to. So right now we've got 32 channels going into this peer-to-peer tunnel. And then that is going to run all the way out that way. This is going to have to be disconnected, which means we actually want our power moved again, which is not fun. Unless we can leave our power connected to here. Just stick one of these here to disconnect that. Now this is not connected to the system anymore because it's only going through peer-to-peer tunnel. There's nothing connecting this directly to the system. But what we can do is actually take, let's see if we can get one of those. Do we have any quartz fiber? We just want one. Oh, right, and we disconnected that, so gonna need some quartz. All right, and then if we make quartz fiber, so quartz fiber will allow us to connect this to the system with, it'll connect power but not channels. So if I actually break this guy, did not plan to break that whole thing. And then we do quartz fiber. Can we not do quartz fiber in between? Looks like it's only going to work on regular cable. So let's go ahead and break this guy and put our smart cables here. And then we do quartz fiber there. So that's cut off. It provides power to this, but not channels. So that says too many channels. That's because there's no channels connected because it's all going through here. We want to close this off again. So now this is basically just providing power to that peer-to-peer tunnel. And then, you know what? We do need channels. So let's go ahead and break this again. Connect that there. Let's break this. What we do want to do is we want to go down to this end so that we can accurately see how many channels are going through here. So right now it's got 6 of 32 channels going through. But once we get to end here, we want to break this. We want to go here. And then that's going to connect to here. We do need to connect those two peer-to-peer tunnels, so we're going to need another memory card. So this is going to be our memory card for peer-to-peer. Let's go ahead and get this, and then copy that to here. So this line here is now only using one channel. It's using the peer-to-peer tunnels. Right, so it's doing that peer-to-peer tunnel connected to that other peer-to-peer tunnel, which the pair of them, I guess, only use one channel. Oh no, it's because they connect here. So at this point they're using two. It's one for each of them. It's one for this one for the one that we've just put at the other end. And then that should make 2, and then this guy makes 3 going into the system, which is fine. But it's providing 32 channels through this peer-to-peer tunnel into the other peer-to-peer tunnel. And you know what? I actually want to leave... I think I want to leave a gap here so that I can see how many channels are being used. So let's break this. Let's do one Fluix smart cable here. We're going to disconnect this guy. This is going to get broken. We're going to do our peer-to-peer here. No, I like that better how it was in the first place. Let's do it like this. We'll put that back. It needs one of the regular cables here. Again, break this off. And then put our dense cable here. Then what we're going to do is color this cable so that it doesn't connect to any of the other cables. Right now, this is probably not connected to anything because we broke it. So let's copy that. Go back to this guy again. Paste him again. EB15. EB15. Okay, so those are connected again now. And then in order to color our cables, we're going to make a new device, which should make this really easy. It is called a paint. Oops, let's type in the box. Color applicator. This is what we want. So let's auto craft these other parts. We do need some more Fluix dust, and this is still disconnected from the system. So let's reconnect this guy quick. And we should just be able to... We got to give him some power. So let's get our energy cables. Put them here and here, and then... that, like that. Don't like the way that looks, but it's going to get changed anyway. That should give power to him. And then we just need to run this guy. And we'll run him. I guess for now, he can just run straight into that guy. It's just one more channel. All right, and then let's try that again. So let's do our color applicator. All right, so that'll get us our color applicator, and then along with that, we're also going to need some dye. Do we have any green dye or cactus? Or, let's see. We don't have any source of cactus yet, do we? Okay, let's do a different color. Let's do, so this is going to be for our spawner room. Do we have red? Yeah, we do. Let's take some red dye. In order to put the red dye in this guy, we're going to need a chest from Applied Energistics. So, what are they actually called? That's one of the things about this game that I'm not good at. ME chest is remembering what things are called. So let's go ahead and craft this guy. All right, so we have an ME chest that can connect to the system pretty much anywhere. Let's just slap him here for now. And then in this guy, we're going to put the color applicator. So basically the way this chest works is you can put one of those memory, what are these things called? You can put one of the disk drives into here. And then when you put items in this chest, like you would in a normal chest, it will place it inside of that storage cell. So if I go ahead and put this color applicator in there, it will instead use this as a storage device. And then when I open the top, it's going to say that there's some stuff auto-craftable in there, which is kind of funny. But we're going to go ahead and throw our red dye into there. Oh yeah, because it's connected to our whole system, so we can see everything. We're going to throw our red dye into there, and then it'll say we have 23 red dye inside of him. So we're going to take him out here, and then we can go to anything that we want to color as far as cables. And if we just right-click on it, it's automatically going to color it. Now, this cable will not connect to regular, or it will not connect to other colored cables. It will connect to regular Fluix cables, but not other colored cables. So, for instance, if I got, do we have any yellow? We have a bunch of yellow dye, and then I put our color applicator in here, and then we open him up again, and we throw this in there, and then we come back into this guy. Take our color applicator out, you'll see we have the 64 yellow in there now. And I can switch between the colors by shift scroll wheeling, and we now have yellow. If I go ahead and get another, let's get another peer-to-peer tunnel. And I connect that here. And then I put a Fluix ME smart cable attached to that. It is going to connect all of these together. But if I then take my yellow dye and paint this, it is going to disconnect the red from the yellow. So now these are no longer sending information back and forth. It's going to know that this is a yellow, only yellow cables can connect to this. Then we've got another peer-to-peer tunnel of 32 channels coming out of the side of that controller that can be let out somewhere else into the world. But for right now, the red is the one that we're focused on. So what I'm actually going to do is go down here. I'm going to change this to red again, and I'm going to paint this just to have kind of a visual indicator that this is going to be the red channel. So then we've got our 9 channels inside of this room that are going into this dense cable, and then that dense cable is sending its 32 channels back, potential channels back to the system. So that means we've got plenty more room over here. We might need to upgrade some more of these to dense cable. Like this one's getting pretty close to full, but that just means we upgrade this to a dense cable. We've got 32 channels available to use in this room. So for right now, that is how we're going to set up our system. So I think the yellow channel we might use for this room over here. So everything that's using channels here is going to go through yellow. And then on this side, we can do the same thing for all the rooms over on this side of the base. And that's going to be our basic organizational plan. I don't know how we got dirt in the wall. It looks like a tree grew there. Huh. But no, I'll get that fixed. Anyway. So that's going to be the plan going forward. You know what? I'm actually going to cover this up. Let's go ahead and make 2 more of these anchors. We do need some more iron. And then go ahead and make. Do we want to do it with these or this? What would look better covering this up? Probably these, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And then we can just cover that and cover that, and that looks a little bit better. a little bit cleaner. Yeah, I still haven't decided whether or not I like all of these machines being around the sides here. I kind of like these 4 being here because they're used so often. And I kind of like the quantum crafter being... I might move the quantum crafter up there so that it's kind of more out of the way. Yeah, I think I might do that at some point. But yeah, that looks pretty good. That's going to be an episode for the day, guys. We did a bunch of upgrades to our Applied Energistics system today. Going forward, I do want to automate nether stars so that we can get our dimensional guy going so that we can open our system in any dimension. But for now, the overworld one is good enough. I think next episode we might do the dire shadow pulse goo and just get this automated and done with so we don't have to do that by hand anymore. And then I'm thinking about episode 30, we're going to go ahead and do our quantum computer. That sounds like a plan to me. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe and have a good one. Bye.